an unbiased, like accountant, let's say a spiritual accountant, you're unbiased. Okay, so 120 years in the ledger. Yeah. Where do you find yourself today?
Traveling lighter,
Huh?
definitely.
Oh, now today.
Traveling lighter.
But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It
So
worked.
yes, it works. See, this is because this is extracting large value through failure. Yeah, large value. Actually, uh, on the scale of success and failure, we're weighing a lot more attention and interest on the failure. Yeah, I, Jesus Christ, Nick is here. I believe failure has produced the most value. So, yeah. So it's nice just to say these few things, and 120 years, and here you are at a Zoom on Saturday, hopefully relieved from the burden of the need to be liberated. Yeah. So didn't the need or the desire or the feeling that I was meant to be liberated, didn't that cause, hey, come on, cause a lot of irritability, restlessness, and discontent? And did all that activity to produce stillness only produce activity? Fantastic. Yeah. Because the failure isn't the excuses and the rationale the head would have a failure, which is you fucked up, you're incapable, you didn't do enough, or the person that I was relying on and this and that and money and everything like that. So that's why it didn't work. I just need to find a purer person or be a purer person. And then what does that do? Just drives more and more. Yeah. When this message tells you the beautiful reason why you're never going to get it is because you are it. It's just unbelievable. Yeah. It just it slips a Mickey to the mental logic, you know. Yeah. All right, because you felt like a lot of times you were never going to get it. I'm sure if you've been on a spiritual path, and that, of course, it was always based on your lack of effort, or you didn't kiss the big toe of the person long enough, or you didn't. In this case, you may have been onto something. You didn't donate enough money and shit and time and effort. But the beautiful message is why you actually failed. Just like the Course would say, you're never upset for the reason you think. You've never failed for the reason you think. Yeah. In this case, in spirituality, you have never failed uh, for the reason you think. You have failed because you are what you're looking for. Yeah. Like it or not, you are what you're looking for. Well, how did I fail that? Well, by looking for it. Yeah. What would you call a spiritual path? Looking for it. Yeah. What failed? What caused me to fail to recognize that what I was looking for is what's looking, is the looking for it. Yeah. There was a mistake, and the looking for it compounded the mistake. You are obviously not what you're looking for. Yeah, and all of the looking for it to get at least a bigger, better you, or a transcendent you, or something not like the you're thinking from all day. Yeah, that drive motivated you to keep looking for it. But the dilemma is you're using what you're looking for to look for it. Yeah. So what we're of is awareness, interest, and attention. Yeah. And we've been using or attempting to use that to look for it. So it's by the looking for it that it seems to be lost or not found. Yeah, obviously. They say this, all the cryptic people, when they do a little riff, they always end up to that statement. They always give a zinger, you know? Yes, like the reason, that the searching for enlightenment is a denial that you're already enlightened. Yes, you've heard it. All the people that come from this flavor of non-duality give you that sandwich. Yeah. There's no bread, just a little that, and there you go. So 120 years of looking for it should produce a lot of success. It should. I mean, but in the way of looking at failure. Yeah. So was in my, of course, the action figure swung the pendulum of good and bad. Yeah. So I went awry. I fucked up, got into drugs, got arrested. And in most people's view, I fucked up. Yeah. I was bad. And then once that settled, there was a desire to be good, to sort of counteract the bad. I figure I got to be good now because I need to get a little, the ledger is way over one side. I got to be good. And so there was a swing that way. So that's what got me engaged in a lot of spiritual practice. I figure I should better myself because I was, destroying myself seemingly in the past. Yeah. So pretty good driving force. And I remember I just lost it. It's going to come to me. Maybe it doesn't need to come to me. But it must have run its course. And it running its course doesn't cause something. Running its course, see, if something is already so, and then that so-ness appears in time and space, it can look like it's not so, and then things happened in time and space to make it look like it was so, but it's always been so. Yeah. So when someone says their story, a lot of people believe the story had a lot to do with where they ended up. But in this case, in a story that way. Yeah. Like the idea of I remember I heard this when I was younger. There was a master and he was, he had a lot of strange behaviors, but it was people obviously believed that he was whatever awake. And so they attempted to catalog his behaviors and make it like a path that as followers, they would try to do as he did to be as he is. But he wasn't doing anything to be what he is. The doing was an expression of what he is. Yeah. And it could have been anything. It just went one way. And to make the expression of where he is as a path to where he is not going to work. Yeah. I mean, obviously you can see the holes there because another person can, which they do, has the same. There is not like, it's like if you wake up and your eyelids are like 10% down, 20% down, and then in the morning, and then maybe they're 10% down, you're not more awake, really. Yeah. the eyelid, the eyelids, it's not a less and more awake. It looks like someone's awake and more here. The awakeness, there isn't more awakeness. There may be a display in time and space of becoming more awake, but there isn't any more awakeness. But there's the infinite quality is in a molecule of it. Yes. In a molecule of awakeness is the infinity of awakeness. There isn't like, oh, there's a little awake and I'm growing in awakeness. That's how it can play out here. But when the play is over, you're back to where you never left. It just is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, so I hope you've been convinced of 50, by 50 years, by 20 years, by 10 years. Now, the convincing may not actually lead to much, but if they're convincing and you fall upon an understanding that can really trigger the value of this convincing, which I believe in this in the event called Paul, it was non-duality. Non-duality has extracted the most value out of failure, and it keeps extracting tons of value out of failure, especially in this one situation, which is trying to arrive at where you already are. It just keeps sucking some major mojo out of that. Yeah. So you're just of, a flick of an eyelid can be 10,000 years, playing around with the idea of time and subjective interpretation of something called time. So one little drop of an eyelid could mean 2,000 years. Yeah. And people would be like, what? Oh, yeah, you took one step and it's 10,000 miles. Yes. But this is the point. Once you're in, uh, there's an out, but that out is a bigger in. Yeah. Once you're in this, and then you try to get out of it, that's the bigger in of this. Yeah. So their idea of in is that which you could be in, you're out of. Yeah. Yeah. Not because you escaped the in, but before. Before the fact is you've never been in what you're driven to get out of. Yeah. Fucking far out. Saves a lot of time and space. So, and then what's looking is what you're looking for. If you sort of catch that tail, where's the shape, where is going to be the effect scene is in the looking for it. Yeah, you'll probably either gradually or very quickly, you'll just lose interest in something that you were quite interested in seemingly for a long time. And this is when people have garage sales and sell all their spiritual books. And if they don't sell them, they just bring them to Goodwill or something like that. Where at one point they had huge amount of value in those books. And now the real value of those books gives them the freedom to get rid of the books. Yeah. Yeah. So I this little like play of words has a lot of meaning to it because if you're sitting here, let's say the stillness is here, and then you're hearing something, and what reacts to it is the mental logic, which usually is the first thing in time. You are the response to it, but it reacts to it. That mental logic gets pretzelized by non-duality. It gets put into postures it can't hold. Yeah, it just can't do it, which is awesome because most shit it has absorbed and it has all the shit that it meets fits around its already preconceived idea. But non-duality is it's like a very, very unique wrench. When you throw it in the works, it does something that listening to see, maybe because it's a non thing, like non-duality. You don't run into non-Catholicism or non-Buddhism usually, but you run into non. The first thing you're introduced is not. Not. It's not for to, it's not to. It's not if I get enough, if I go forward enough for two, I'll get into one. No, that's not it. It's not two. Simple. Yeah. Just a negation. And some people I've run into in books have really the presentation of the constant negation of that which wants to arise and affirm itself. They just pull out the rug from it very with great humor. It's quite good. And the thing wants to, proclaim something and the rug gets pulled out of it. Then it try and the rug gets pulled out of it. And then the rug gets pulled out of it. And it's sort of like seeing the emperor with no clothes. You don't have to keep seeing the emperor with no clothes. The next time you see the emperor, you know it has no clothes, no matter if it's wearing a lot of clothes or not. The clothes aren't the escape. Because if you're looking to see the emperor with no clothes, they may be rare and far between experiences. But the recognition of seeing the emperor with no clothes is that it originally has no clothes. So no matter how it's clothing itself in time and space, the fact is the emperor has no clothes. End of story. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Now, you didn't do anything. It was not doing anything that allowed some seeing. Yeah, yeah. So this isn't like you're going to go to a symposium and then you're going to study it when you get home. Most people who come to these satsangs with a pen and paper, that ends pretty quickly. The pen and paper, they're sitting there jotting, and then they just fucking put it down. It isn't like, I vow not to write anymore. No, they just see it's going another way. The 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 sharing of it is going in a different way than the mental logic would approach it. Yes. So by doing nothing and just hearing, a lot happens. Yeah. Yeah. And then you notice, because obviously there's been a blanket like value put into doing, and you start seeing that a lot of doing doesn't have any value other than to teach you you can't do yourself into what you already are. So you start having just coming up. Well, first of all, they bring about rubbing shoulders with the misunderstandings that have been forming you all day. Yeah. And you rub against and you realize, just like I learned in AA, you do a person a disservice trying to save them from their bottom. Not in all cases, but in many cases. Now, I did not. I thought I'm here to be available to others and try to help them. But basically, my trying to help them sometimes is a disservice because they need to get their ass kicked for something to happen in time. Yeah. Something that's already so, you may need a big ass kicking in time to see it being so. Yeah. The big ass kicking doesn't make it so. It's already so. We are awake. What do you think going on here all day? Yeah. We've got the raw awakeness, and then as a way of disputing it, we try to think about higher forms of awakeness or radical awakeness or super radical awakeness or past forensic awakeness and future hope awakeness. Yes. But it's really a way of belying the fact that awakeness is the basis of this whole day. Yeah. Now, obviously, in a subjective dream that seems to be playing out in a bifocal way, like a dualistic way, you can seem to be awake to that fact of awakeness, or you can seem to be asleep to that fact of the awakeness. But those conditions that you could be in do not deny the awake condition. Yeah. The awake condition is the awake condition. You can have a subjective experience that you're not awake, and you can have a subjective experience that you are awake, but neither of them make the awakeness so or not so. Yeah. It just goes easier if you're awake to being awake here, because a lot of things that can happen here and duplicate here and bring and suck in a lot of meaning have to constantly keep happening. They need to build momentum. Yeah. So when you're awake to being awake, that lightness doesn't bear weight that much. It throws a lot of weight off because it's traveling lighter. Yeah. So you're not getting bogged down. Just like if a beautiful thing about just it seems to be innocent, but let's say reincarnation. So a lot of people are very interested in reincarnation, and they're interested in past incarnations as something they're not to be now, but whatever. And so they want to know if they were, with Cleopatra or something like that, Mark Antony, not a cobbler, not the shit picker upper, but and then they're really interested. What am I going to reincarnate as next? And there's symposiums and seminars and probably Facebook groups and things. Yeah, it's sort of fun in a way, but then it gets taken a lot of seriousness, and that fun is being used as an act of denial of you're an incarnate thing. You have not incarnated. So there's not going to be any reincarnation. What can incarnate and reincarnate is in us. Yeah. So maybe if a little interest was going that way, you would lose interest in paying your subscription to the reincarnation monthly, whatever. We are hoping to look like this. Yes, you just would. I don't know. And maybe you would just find, but look, when you're looking for, a lot is overlooked. Yes. When you're constantly looking for, a whole lot's overlooked. When you stop looking for, you start noticing a lot of stuff. You do, a huge amount. And where you're thinking about what experiential restaurant am I going to next, you may be at a feast right now. Yeah. I mean, right now is pretty cool. Heard a siren a little bit. Now it's vibrating slowly. Da da da. Yes. You can feel the olive tree or the walnut tree. You can feel this, feel that. Yeah. Yeah. So now if I was trying to get something here, I'd be overlooking everything that was here. I would probably. So this has a lot of good qualities. It stops a lot of the unnecessary movement. It it ends. The track runs out. You're paying for the track to be laid. Yeah, and then you're bitching about being on it. But you're paying for it. You're seeing it. You're looking way down and where am I going to be? Whatever. That stuff stops. And a lot of shit can stop. And yet the meat of the whole event can continue. It could really be sliced up a lot, and you'd really still get the meat of it all. Probably even more, because maybe there's too much on the plate. Maybe there's too much on the plate, so you have this incredible, exquisite taste, but then you put another thing in your mouth, and that second taste now there's a forgetting of the first taste. Maybe something could linger, Maybe you could enjoy peace of mind. Maybe you could sense a presence, polishing your sensors. Yes, maybe you pick up a bigger presence than the one you hoped to polish into a high. Yeah, yeah. So if the dominoes start to fall, that means they're probably going to continue to fall. Yeah. And as they said, if you're here today, knowing it or not, you may be in the tiger's mouth already, and it's too late. You don't have any choice of the matter now. And this is what happened with me. I just went to a satsang in Berkeley in a park, sort of like not like this. This is where we are, but I couldn't hear the lady. It didn't matter. I went the next week. I never even heard what she said. She was very soft spoken, East European, but I felt something. Yeah. And she was just part of the cast of that event of feeling something. Yeah, really. She wasn't the source of it, nor was I in a sense. It was just and then I followed it up and it led me to be sitting with that guy Ramesh Balsekar and then having the rest of the day Bombay trying to figure out what the fuck I can do because I didn't know I was there by myself. It's strange. Then I found AA, which is very cool in India, Bombay, and went to meetings. And so, yeah, it just carried me. And I had failed enough, really. I had failed more than enough. If you need a little bit of information to get something, I had a lot more information that was necessary, but there it was. And then non-duality played the role of like a pair of glasses, and I saw things differently. Yeah. I I was told the same thing from something, but I saw things differently. But the mental logic kept trying to apply its way of seeing to everything I was now seeing differently. And thank God it didn't win out, really, because I had had a very fleshy taste of having that which had directed me fail. We call it self, the small s self in recovery. And it says a statement will hardly be a success. Yeah, any life. And I was in that camp after being plucked out of it from by grace, I feel. So grace really, I never dried off from getting dunked in grace. I didn't take any towels, no mental towel. I just walked around dunked in that grace, and a lot got revealed. So these things really registered to me the failure, the echoes of failing has been the greatest clarion call to me. But I needed something that saw the value in nothing, and that was non-duality. Everything else was trying to accrue more or polish it clearer, but non-duality just said, you are what you're looking for. Being ourselves reality, the greatest mystery is reality wanting to attain reality. Should I go on? I mean, one should do it. One statement should freaking do it. What's looking is what you're looking for. You can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. What the fuck? Yeah, these things were sort of suspiciously, seemingly about me when I heard it. It wasn't like you were talking, oh, that guy over there. No, it was basically directed at me. And thank God it's the me that I'm not. And the shoe fit. Yeah, and I wore them. And when you walk around with the shoe, you get to realize how uncomfortable it is. Not because no, no. It's just an uncomfortable fit. Because the emphasis of your life is the act of denial of what you are. That's a strange is actually the act of denial of what I am. Wow, that's a pretty incredible statement. And this head has made something to be this something else, which was I thought the something else was me. Like in AA was weird in another level. I came in and they said, hey, listen, man, you got to be willing to save your ass instead of your face. And I really believed my face was my ass, literally. I lived the mental face that I was presented as, I thought had an ass. And I was busy saving it all day at the expense of my real ass. So it wasn't difficult to turn that understanding from recovery into non-duality. It was a very short bridge. Yeah. And it was just another, and then non-duality is like, and then something clicked. Yeah. Recovery went, all right, cool, very cool. I don't know what else. And then suddenly I heard non-duality and I heard a click. And then something opened. Yeah. 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 Hmm. You can hear it now, that vibration, the chime. I wish you guys could hear it. This chime, like, is one of probably the best thing I ever bought from Costco. It just vibrates until it goes into the massive universal vibration. It's incredible. You can hear something 10 minutes ago and it's still yeah, yeah. So that's how that's why we keep it simple here. There is no thesis that we give, hopefully. the summation is very brief and sudden. It's usually less than 6 or 7 words in a sentence. Yeah. Yeah. Being ourselves reality. Reality, reality wanting to attain reality is the greatest mystery from a great mystery solver, Ramana Maharshi. Yeah. Hawaiian Po, whatever can be perceived. And I know some people have had difficulty with this. So I'll try to. So what you're looking at, or if you were touching things, you would perceive something, yes? Like if you were blind and you were touching a wall, there would be a perception of that wall. You would be feeling it. But most perception using the eye. All right. So whatever can be perceived right now. So I'm perceiving Mike here. We call it Mike, but what was when I see it before Mike, whatever. Mia, Nick, Lola, Chris, myself. Yep. Whatever can be perceived, and only things in a sense can be perceived, cannot be that which is perceiving. Okay. Oh, that's easy. The chair is not perceiving. That fence is not perceiving. That bench is not perceiving. But it's assumed that the thing called Mike is perceiving, the thing called me is perceiving, the thing called Paul is perceiving. But we're in the same category as the chair, as the bench. Yes. Yeah. But we may have sentience, but we don't really have sentience. Sentience, it's sort of like uh, the toaster that you are has an 80 years of an electric bill have been paid. But after 80 years, the electricity gets removed. Now, does the electricity go anywhere? No, it's just readily available, but it ain't going through the toaster. It's not going to make any toast anymore. Yeah, it's still there, but toasting is out of the question. It would be a very bad like wallet, or he has two little card sleeves. So whatever can be perceived obviously can't be a body. Yeah, because the body can be perceived. And he says, whatever can be perceived cannot be that which is perceiving. It doesn't have a list of what can be perceiving and be the perceived. It's sort of like it doesn't have two sides. It's a simple absolute statement, which is a lot of what non-duality is. It's just a screeching halt of a statement. Yeah. It's like what's looking is what you're looking for. Doesn't give you much. Well, wait a minute. Does it mean if I'm dressing differently, is that a different what's looking? And I shouldn't know. If I'm feeling terrible, is that still what I'm looking for? No. Yes. So they're absoluteness in a sense. So whatever can be perceived, yes, cannot be that which is perceiving. Now, this is a dilemma. A lot of people will apply that to everything that can be perceived except for this, that which can be perceived, and believe it's still the perceiving of everything perceived. It's a simple mistake, but it's stubborn. And it takes different forms. This was a joke, but it's subtler. It does the same thing, though. Like I am free from my ego, but everyone else's ego is bothering me. Yes, there's this idea of exception that, all right, I've been lifted, but it's still propagating everywhere else. That's not correct. So whatever can be perceived cannot be that which is perceiving. Simple. Yeah. There wasn't like 800 pages of debate. It's just an invitation. No one's trying to declare it. They're just presenting it to see what comes to the table. Yeah. So when you say whatever can be perceived cannot be that which is perceiving, it's going to come something that's affecting you all day that you don't see is going to show itself because it's sort of sees this other doesn't see most shit happening now as a threat. So an alarm will go off, and then it's like, wow, there you go. That's what you're not. Yeah. That's the mouse. You tie a little string to it. When the mouse disappears, you can follow it back to the hole. And then you realize what you're not. Yeah. And out of the hole and shows itself. It's almost like it's like the cobra that's tranced out by the guy playing the little horn. It can't help itself. So the mental logic, I believe, gets brought out into the open, enticed by the non-duality understanding. It's to me, uh, that which you believe you're in, you got to see it out. Yeah. And most importantly, that you believe you are, or you are believing as that, you need to see it with a sense of not being that. Yeah. And recognizing it gives you a sense that you must be something else that to recognize it. Yeah. Yeah. It just gives you, it may take a while, but sometimes it just blows up all at once. Other times it accumulates, whatever, it doesn't matter because it's not making a new fact. It's just going to settle into an old fact, or always fact. Yeah. And when you settle into it, it was like you were never, ever not settled into it. It's not like you got gypped or you should have done anything earlier. All that goes right out the window because time isn't has anything to do with isness. Has a lot to do with wasness and willedness, but not isness. It doesn't. So, yeah, here we are spending another day. My dog is going through thinking she has a baby again. This is the second time. Yeah, so she's made a nest in the ivy back there. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. We have a big thing of ivy. She's made a nest in there, and she brought the baby in, and now she's she's been protective all morning, and she looked with her eyes like a Madonna-like eye today. I know she's in her whole mother mode. It's incredible. It's Kali on four legs. She's in mother mode. It's just, and so talk about a subjective experience. There are no puppies. The thing that she's walking around and holding very gingerly is dead. It's never been alive. Yeah. But to the dog, it's as real can be. Guess what? What you can apply to the dog can be easily applied here. Yeah. This is a subjective event. And if it's a subjective event, it falls under the category not of real, but of dreaming. There are no subjective events in reality. That in that case, reality would oppose its subjectiveness on you. But because there is no subjective reality, we make our own. Yeah, obviously. Obviously. You don't, it's not hard. Some people get the same physical damage, and how they react to it is completely different. I was in a part of the hospital where people who had severe physical damage were in, and the people who had been dealing with us had seen many of us probably over the years, and they knew it would be helpful if we hung out, talked to each other, and it would be interesting because on a certain level of damage, we all had a similar amount of damage or trauma, let's say physical trauma. Yet one person started to drink as a result. Another person stopped drinking as a reaction to it. I mean, it just went, some people got religious, other people, yeah. So whatever, and it seemed to be a fucking pretty traumatic event, yet it was overridden by subjectiveness constantly. So here we are in a dreaming. We went over it the other night with the 7 first lessons of the Course in Miracles. And in the dreaming, what do we see? Only the past. Yeah, that's what we see. And how does that look? Well, you're giving everything all the meaning it has. Nothing you see has any meaning, and on and on and on. So basically, the colors. That's it. That's what's going on quite a lot. And the awareness of that event isn't of the event. The awareness is the space the dreaming happens in. It's not a part of the dream or outside the dream. The dreaming is appearing on this huge space like a screen, and it will disappear as if it never happened. Yeah. I was just watching a YouTube thing I liked in a thing, because we've said this a lot before. They were trying to see how, you know, your basic were you looking at the point of not getting you bummed out, but relieving your view of this overriding subjective importance. Yeah. Because many of us, uh, there's a lot in our, horse bags. We gotta fucking we're traveling heavy, carrying around a lot of emphasis and meaning, and they were just expressing the hugeness of this whole place they're discovering with with telescopes. And there you are. Does anyone notice I have two different color socks? Probably not. I looked today. I had a every once a week, I think I clean up really, like do a little thing on the beard. I don't look at myself much, and it surprises me because Amelia gave me a mirror, and one is a magnifying. So I can handle just the one mirror, but when you put the magnification on, I'm going, does anyone see me with this emphasis? Probably not, because it's if a teenager would have this, they would never come out of the bathroom. Fuck. They would be pouring over every centimeter. It was just insane. So I thought I had, shaved whatever. Then it was sticking out everywhere, hairs out of the nose. Wait a minute. I need to have this magnification to clean up. That's what head does. Subjective experience, the head magnifies, shrinks. Mountains out of molehills, molehills out of mountains. Yeah. Yeah. Do you really believe you're the one behind there, standing independent and free, and then deciding to do this shit? Give me a break. You're a manufactured product of the system. You're not what's being held down by the system. You are the the central character of the self-centeredness is the idea of self. Yeah, you are the heart of the system. And part of the insanity is you believe you can leave the system as the system. You just take the system with you wherever you go. Why can't I get out of this? You are it. Thank God you're not. But the idea of getting out of it, how many? All right, let's take the thing of DMT. Yeah. DMT-5, but I'm sure there's going to be a DMT-6 and a DMT-7X and a DMT-8 and a DMT-9, and it just keep on keeping on, keep going. Yeah. The biggest dilemma is you go so far out, but you still are in. Yeah. There's still a you when you get back. Can maybe take a day or two, but it regroups. It's like when you break a thermostat, and all the mercury goes out, and then it just regroups. Yeah, so you can stun it, but it just regathers, regathers, and regathers. You believe, oh, this was the greatest spiritual knockout punch, and then it gets up. How are you? You can't get out of what you're not in. You can only seem to be in what you're not in. You can only seem to be in. You can believe it to be so, but it isn't so. And that's why you fail when you attempt to get out. It fails not because of you or the masters or anything, is you're not in. Not being in precludes you can't get out. And that's the value in the failure. You mean, is this all there is? Yeah, this is probably all there is. Shit. And then after you get over it, it's hallelujah. Fucking wow. That magnifying glass isn't like hanging over you magnifying everything all day. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. I hope you don't get it. Yeah. Hope you don't understand it. Understanding isn't going to make anything so, really. It's just going to help to drop the value of understanding. All the stocks got to drop. Intellect, understanding, experience. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. All right. Who's running the show today, anyway?
Hi, Paul.
Is
I'm
it
hosting it now.
Shannon or no?
Yeah.
No. Oh, great, Shannon. You did it in a quiet way. Very cool.
So
All right.
Kathy has her hand up. We just have to
Oh,
unmute her. Yeah, let's see.
see, I say come in, but you're already in, Kathy. So
Yeah, I think you can
nice to
unmute
see
now,
you.
Kathy. I can't find you, but
Okay, let's see. Am I unmuted? I am.
there you go.
Right. You can hear me.
Yes,
All right. Um, well, I'll apologize. I came in a little late. But
I recognized your tardiness. That's okay.
I seem to come in when you were
It
talking
was,
about exactly what I feel I've been going through. Like, well, I missed last Saturday's meeting, but I was on the week before, and
yes.
I fell asleep. I fell asleep before the end of the meeting, and I was thinking I left my camera on. It's a good thing my speaker wasn't on. I probably was snoring. Anyway, and I was telling my
Thought
friend,
you transcended. That's good.
I was telling my friend Virginia, who's the one who recommended, who turned me on to you to begin with, to the 12-step program or meetings first. And she's the one that told me recently, I really need to go on your non-duality meetings.
Yes.
So
I think we're
I was
losing you, or are you losing me?
well, I don't know. You were getting a little choppy when I was listening. Am I okay now?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, what I said to Virginia was, I thought, I said it strains my brain to listen to Paul. And then I realized that that's because I'm trying to understand.
Yes.
And I need to just come and listen and it'll land. The airplane will come in and land when it lands. And it seemed like I
And
came in
you probably
today.
won't be there to recognize it.
What's that?
You're not going to be there to recognize it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
All
like a
right.
thief in the night.
Yeah. Well, and
There was a
that's
horror movie that they finally realized he's in the house. They're getting calls and they think it's from outside the house, and then he's in the house. That's sort of what it's like.
yeah. Well, thank you. That's about all I wanted to
And
say.
but the thing with the brain too, honey, yes. Yeah, I figured in younger, I felt I better find something else. I'm not making friends with people. It's sort of like a strange thing going on. But then I realized it's the norm of this delivery of satsang. The first understanding is you're not getting it. Yeah, that's great. So I've watched it over years of what it's there's patterns in time that something that's already so becoming seemingly so takes. And so the understanding uh, short circuits the mental logic, which, knowing it or not, there's a huge reliance on. Huge reliance. Like in the
Right?
so like the faith mind thing, he said, don't worry about the truth, just stop cherishing your own opinions. So there's a lot of opinions about intellect and logic and this and that there's a deep reliance on. There's no one that's relying on it. That's the emblem of it, of reliance. But there's a reliance on it. And so those things in that reliance, they're actually being used as an obscuring agent. So it's important that something threatens those things or goes over their head or has the person doing German Shepherd things like that, confusing the system because it's a very incredibly good sign. You don't want the system to understand this. Yeah, because then you may leave thinking you know it, and it's that's not working. Yeah. So if you stick around, people generally get frustrated and what the fuck is this guy talking about? Now, if I was looking for friends, that would bother me, but I'm not looking for friends. Yeah. So I've seen it, it's part of the seed assignment. People don't understand what I'm saying in most cases. Fantastic. Great. And if you have a little quirk where you feel like there's something going on and you keep coming back, it tends to be valuable. Because when you do understand something, it hasn't been captured by the mental logic and made into something it can eat. Yeah. It's still outside the logic, but you're starting to get something with it. Yeah, great, fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. Once it gets absorbed in the mental logic, it becomes something that I don't believe it's meant to be presented as. Yeah, it can even turn into a path and stuff. Yeah. So yes, this happens a lot, Kathy. Happened with me, everyone, because we try to know things. Yeah. There's a deep, great reliance on that trying to know things. And in this case, being what we are, that is an obstruction because we want to know it more than be it. Yeah. I want to experience it more than be it. This is way off. Yeah. I mean, on an experiential level, it doesn't even shine, uh, not even nothing close to being. Being has qualities that are not found in this place. Yeah. That become completely reliable in this place. So what I am looking in here for is not in here. It's of what I actually am. And that means the being is the depository, not experience, not knowledge, not understanding, but like a childlike being is where the real value is. And then you see how these other, and they're fine processes, but they have been used, they've all have a confirmation bias now. So you're looking for evidence, not to find out what's going on, to that's going to obstruct a lot here. Yeah. So yeah, we have a lot of people who are super pissed off and frustrated for a while here. Great. If they maybe they go somewhere else, get relief. Maybe they stay here and they'll get a relief That's different than the relief. You get the, oh, I finally understand it. No, you don't. That's not when you get the relief that you finally, oh, you get, no, I'm not going to understand it. That's a different relief than, oh, I finally get it. It's not a finally getting it. You're never going to get it. The system cannot leave the system. The system cannot know anything other than through the system. This is it's a pre-built program. It excludes discovery. It excludes truly mystery. It excludes the value of uncertainty, excludes it completely. Yeah. When you see enough of the failure of that system, that is an opening. That it's not something's going to come in, but something's going to be let out. There's no thing that's blocking off the light other than the light's unrecognizing itself as light. That's all. So now the light is looking for light because it's in a deep unrecognizing that it's light. That's the basic conundrum of non-duality. And the way they answered it was not to. Yeah, not this, not that. And so, yeah. Yeah, if you're looking for friends, yeah, you may have them 5 years later or something. They'll call you, wow, I finally got that I'm not going to get it. Great. Yeah. Yeah. What can I give you? At that point, they know the greatest gift is nothing, so they give me nothing. I should have milked them when I thought they were getting something. But no. They're getting nothing and they give me nothing. That's pretty good. On some levels. Could be bad on other levels. All right. Anyone else? We're going to have a quiet day for coffee today. You can't hear a word we're saying. I want Chris to work the Zoom bombing. He won't be able to hear anything they say. So he'll be totally neutralized and they'll get disappointed. He'll be like, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. Yes. Put him he's in charge of the Zoom bombers, Chris. Yeah, there. Make sure you remember him. Kathleen, put him to good use. See? All right. Anyone? No? Let's start saying goodbye. So let's say goodbye. Kathy, I really like you, Kathy. I'm happy you've shed the light on spiritless servility and other things. I'm never going to forget the spiritless servility. I think that's one of the greatest descriptions of active addiction. Spiritless servility. Incredible. Jay, there. Kathleen, as always, nice to see you. Next test, I'm not sending you the questions beforehand. No. There's Hiram. How you made it. One piece. I hope you're feeling well. Yeah. I checked. I saw there was 5 other suitcases in the garage. And you think you're fooling me. It's spelled Miraha. It's M-I.
Now I can't hear you.
Paul, you're muted. You have to unmute, Paul. Paul, we can't hear you.
I
Did I
couldn't
just-
hear you.
You didn't hear? Oh, I
No.
was talking about Hiram.
Yeah, you were
And he
muted.
left. They've expanded.
Oh,
Like I think he put like 20 pounds of chia seeds and they got wet. The suitcases have expanded, and now there's some that say it's Marich, which is not going to fool me. I know
oh,
it's Hiram. Hiram spelled backwards. It's your luggage.
okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start charging rent. This shit in the camper. I used to have a girlfriend when we travel Asia. She'd want to get on the plane first, and she'd hide shit in other people's seats. She had so much character. She would put them in fight. He would finally touch and what's this? And she'd be watching the whole trip. We're all this is like Hiram in my
Oh,
garage.
damn. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Happy you're good.
Yeah.
Mike
I'm
and
happy you're good. Yeah.
oh, yeah, we're fine. Very good today.
Good.
Raven,
Good.
always a pleasure. Ariane, yes, thank you, Ariane, for all the support all the time. Marilyn in Tallahassee.
Thanks for nothing, Paul.
There you go. Yes. Nothing can hold the burden of 50 years like that. Yes, because it doesn't see any weight. Chris. Keith G. Nice to see you, Keith, as always. Chris A. Hey, we're going to be up in Auburn, California, 2 weeks from now, July 19th. We're going to have the Zoom there and the live meeting up there. I think I sent it to Martin, so hopefully we see Gary and stuff from Placerville, but we're going to have a live satsang in Auburn, July 19th, Saturday. Yeah, 2 weeks from today, I think. All right. Mike S., Greg, Diona sticking with us. Great. Yes. Chris H., Maro, Saraswati, Vlad, Eric, Shannon, Steve C. from San Diego, Stephen Mack on Having Never Left, Jay, Roman Mueller. Nice to see you, Jay, Roman. Arturs. I can't get to the other page. Hey, thank you. I don't think. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, I can't do it. Hey, thanks everyone. Have a pleasant time, and
Do I have to?
you don't have to though. I would enjoy it. Yeah.